Give me 1 second. Need to collect my coffee. What's this? I don't like these. Oh. Lo-fi vibes. All right. I think we're all set up now. Good morning, Jose. Is it Jose? Or is it Hasue? Have you fallen down the coffee rabbit hole? Sorry, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Also, welcome to the stream, boys. What's up, Nathan? I actually haven't drinking any coffee yet. I need to go get that. Am I sure about what? What's up, Doru? Give me 1 second. I gotta get my coffee. Dang, I forgot to start even making my coffee. My coffee grounds are just sitting there. I didn't even pour water in them yet. So I gotta do that first. Oh, being ready? Yeah. I'm never ready. I just have to click play and figure it out on the way. What's up, Dracula? What do you think about VLang? I actually don't know very much about VLang. I'm sure I've gone through their like front matter paper or whatever. Let's take a look. Is V still fast? How is it different? Here we go. V is statically compiled. Sorry. V is that's me not drinking any coffee. V is a statically typed compiled programming language designed for building and maintainable software. Similar to Go and designed to be. Its design has been influenced by Auron, Rust, Swift, Kotlin, Python. V is a very simple language. Going through the documentation will take about an hour, and by the end you'll have pretty much learned the entire language. Minimal abstraction. I do like that. I wish they'd say like what it is, because I don't want to read through their entire documentation, but I would be interested to know like what are the big features. Like it has matches, I guess. Hoistings. Yeah, I guess maybe like in C you didn't have to hoist you had to manually hoist your functions, but that's a nice feature, I think. They have mutability tracking. Do they have a borrow checker? VLang stream time. That's weird. I can't go back. I clicked a link, but it wouldn't let me go back. That's never happened to me before. Maps. Oh. Oh, there's no anchor at the top, so it just doesn't know where to go. I don't like this. Rust does this for like arrays. I don't like the dot dot. I feel like it's kind of messy. But that's my preference. So they have some basic types. Module imports. I like this a lot more than what Rust does. Match statements. I'm curious how they do this. I like this. This looks like a Okay, cool. Well, unless oh, it can return something like a function. That's kind of cool. How's my day so far? My day has been very short. I like pretty much just woke up, to be honest. I like the ability to make things immutable and mutable. Closures. I just don't know what sorry, excuse me. I would just be interested to see like what the memory management situation is. That's an important thing. I assume it doesn't have a garbage collector. So it's like, what do? They probably don't have a borrow checker. 10 minutes, my boy's already asleep. I know, pretty much. I think they have two types. Oh, like you could do borrow checker. You can also do a what's it called? Like manual. Or sorry. Man, dude, I am just like saying all the wrong words right now. What I meant to say is they have an optional garbage collector, but manual the other way. I'm curious how to do this. And then channels. Oh, they call it spawns, their keyword. Yeah. My God, he's losing it. When you become a real streamer and watch other people make videos, yeah. Hey, we could do that. We can start making React videos. I saw Primogen started. I don't know if he's always done that, because I only very recently started following him. All right, buddy. My cat was wanting some pets. We could do reacts. What's up, Jen? How you doing? Yeah, my coffee's brewing right now. Let me call my secretary to come get it for me. Oh, we have a video? All right, we're doing our first React, boys. Let me figure out how to do this. Let me get my coffee. Your behavior has been noted. Why are you looking at V instead of adding weapons, huh? Because I haven't drank any coffee yet, so I haven't I don't have the brain. I don't have the brain energy to work yet. So this will be like I'll drink the coffee while we watch this, and then yeah, that'll be it, and then we'll start coding. Unless I get distracted again, in which case we'll do that, whatever I get distracted by. All right, give me 1 second. All right. I have coffee now. Preparing for the first sip. Oh, how the great have fallen. I hope you're not talking about me. I was never great, but I have fallen. I don't have the energy equals. I have a caffeine dependency and my baseline is now lower. That's pretty much true, actually. I very slowly have like creeped up on having to drink more and more caffeine. I need to have a I need to do like a juice cleanse or something. You know, like when people like drink a bunch of juice. I don't know what they do. I need to stop drinking. I need to drink less caffeine one day though. Yeah, I need to do a caffeine break. That's what I need to do. Go back to like 1 cup. The problem, what happens, it's not drinking coffee, but what happens sometimes when I go get lunch is I'll see an energy drink and I'm like, man, I know I'm gonna be tired after I eat this, so I may as well just like grab this, and then I get a lot of caffeine. And then it makes me like overly caffeinated. I'm just caffeinated all day long. My body doesn't know what to do. All right, let's watch this. Let me know if the volume is bad at all or anything like that.
V programming language. So what does the V programming language get us that we can't get from all the other languages that we have to choose from these days? We're going to address that and also take a tour of some of its syntax. The V language, like Rust, aims to provide modern safety features, including memory safety, while still having C-like performance. But at the same time, V is more high level than Rust, so it occupies an interesting niche. You can even translate an entire C project to V automatically, and there's an example of this using the game Doom.
What do you say?
John Carmack, if you're watching this, go ahead and comment below on what you think of V. V is more high level than Rust, so it occupies an interesting niche. You can even translate an entire C project to V automatically, and there's an example of this using the game Doom. John Carmack.
Oh, they converted the entire Doom game to V?
If you're watching this, go ahead and comment below on what you think of V. Ultra-fast compilations.
Did he comment? I'm guessing he didn't. Okay, I was just curious. I feel like if John Carmack commented, that would be like that'd be cool.
Speed is also a nice icing on the cake. Apparently it's very syntactically similar to Go, which is a language I'm not very familiar with. Who has a better mascot though? Come on, seriously. There's also a bit of drama and controversy around the V language, but we'll get to that a bit later. First, let's take a look at the language syntax itself. Then we'll look at what might be its killer feature, which is AutoFree memory management. First of all, V programs are currently transpiled to C prior to being compiled to machine code. You can actually view the C code for your program by running this command. There's a lot of V compiler boilerplate in there, but it could come in handy if you ever need to see what the V compiler is doing under the hood. Personally, I prefer never looking at this, but that's just me. V has an official object relational mapping module for interacting interacting with databases. Yes, you heard that right. A programming language has an official ORM module. V also has an official desktop UI framework. These official UI and ORM modules yield a level of batteries included that I didn't know was possible. Also, there's a Tetris example project. If AutoFree doesn't get you excited, you can always fall back on that. Okay, let's dive into the highlights of V's syntax. Like Go, variables are declared and initialized using the := operator. Initialization is required when a variable is declared. If they are marked as mutable with a mute keyword, they can be reassigned after declaration using the = operator. V is statically typed, but has the type inference you'd expect in a modern language. When you do need to specify types like in function parameters and return types, there's no colon necessary like there is in many languages. An identifier and its type are separated only by a space character. V mostly has parity with the Rust primitive types, Boolean, I32, U32, and so on. Strings are immutable. Like string slices in Rust, they're just a read-only array of bytes. Arrays can be mutable and have both capacity and length fields. Capacity is automatically increased as necessary, similar to something like an array list in Java. Functions can return multiple values by using a comma-delimited list of types surrounded by parentheses as a return type in the function signature. Structs are defined using a simple syntax. No commas are necessary between.
This is a nice video just because he's like bang, 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 bang. He goes through each little thing like very, very quickly.
Fields, like just identifiers for each field and their respective types. Annotate fields with required to make sure that particular field is assigned when creating an instance of the struct.
I actually kind of, sometimes I find myself wanting something like this required definition. Because like, sometimes I don't want to make a constructor function like is very common in Go. I just want to define the struct, but I want to make sure I don't forget to add certain fields. Like I don't want to use the default parameter. It makes it kind of hard to, makes it hard, like, because I have to write a constructor basically, which is kind of annoying. Because then I just have to pass a list of a bunch of random things to this struct. So, but I don't know.
Define methods on a type, such as a struct, you actually put a special receiver argument prior to the function name. That makes the function a callable method on the receiver type. There's an interesting feature called struct embedding, which is sort of like inheritance without polymorphism. Let me explain. I can have a struct person that has an age field and a method called isAdult. Then I can have another struct programmer that has a lines of code per day field. I can specify that the person struct is embedded in the programmer struct, and the programmer struct will inherit the fields and methods of person. But again, there's no polymorphism here.
It'll inherit the fields and methods.
Okay. Can't pass a programmer to a function that has a person parameter. But
oh, interesting. Okay.
V does have an interface construct which does allow for polymorphism. And there are some things about it that are pretty unique compared to the equivalent construct in other languages. First of all, it can specify.
It sounds like struct embedding, but it's like I don't know if you can get from programmer to person. Like when you embed with structs with Go, you would do like programmer, person, P. I'm so confused by this syntax. What is he casting? Or is person a function? P.isAdult. I don't know if there's a way to get to person.
Function that has a person parameter. But V does have an interface construct which does allow for polymorphism. And there's some things about it that are pretty unique compared to the equivalent construct in other languages.
So here's he's getting back to person. Well, let me
First of all, it can specify fields that implementers must have. That can be handy because it can free you to create more methods on the interface that might otherwise have to be in the implementing structs. Functions are first-class citizens in that they can be created anonymously, assigned to.
Yeah, it seems very similar to struct embedding, but it seems a little bit different too.
A variable, and
also the interface thing seems weird. It seems like you have requirements on what data needs to be there. Which sometimes would be nice, I think. Actually, a lot of the stuff in this I feel like is pretty nice little features. Like nice little like a lot of stuff that's like I can think of exact situations where I wish I had this.
Function parameters. Closures are supported too, so an anonymous function can inherit variables.
The problem is I don't know like the side effects of adding some of these features. Like I don't know if it makes other things harder or messier or something like that, you know? And that's the hard part. You add some feature in a programming language and then there's a bunch of Like, oh, now you have to deal with this other thing because of this doesn't really guarantee this thing anymore, you know?
From the scope they were created in. The somewhat unique thing about V's closures is that you need to explicitly list all the variables that you'd like the anonymous function to inherit.
This syntax, I think this syntax is really messy. I get the desire to like force the user to tell you what you're going to pass into your closure. But like I've almost never run into a situation where like I think what it's trying to prevent is it's trying to prevent you from accidentally passing something in, but I've almost never run into that situation. Like I've never come into a situation where I've accidentally passed something into my closure and been like, oh, why is that there?
Put a comma delimited list of identifiers in braces immediately after the FN keyword. V does have a concept of references. If I'm defining a function that takes a struct as a parameter, I can force it to be passed by reference by prefixing the type with an ampersand.
Isn't this the same concept Russ has with borrowing with the bracket in though? Maybe I didn't listen correctly. What it sounded like was it's just when you define your closure, you define what gets passed into the creation of the closure.
Function parameters. Closures are supported too, so an anonymous function can inherit variables from the scope they were created in. The somewhat unique thing about V's closures is that you need to explicitly list all the variables that you'd like the anonymous function to inherit. Put a comma delimited list of identifiers in braces immediately after the FN key.
Yeah, so like in Go, you wouldn't have to have this at all. This bracket in, you would just, in would automatically get passed into your closure from outside of the closure. Yeah, so you have to explicitly write in. In Go, it's implicit though. But here you have to actually say like, oh, I want to pass in. I want to pass the variable with the letter in into the closure function. Yeah. I also agree it's probably nice to be explicit, but on the other hand, it's like I've never had this problem, so I can't really. It's like I don't really want a solution to something. I don't want a solution that, because like imagine a closure with a lot of things. Now you have this really complicated thing that's like, I don't know. That really didn't need to be as complicated as it should have been.
Keyword.
And I use closures an enormous amount, so.
V does have a concept of references. If I'm defining a function that takes a struct as a parameter, I can force it to be passed by reference by prefixing the type with an ampersand, similar to how it would be in C++. But if I omit the ampersand on an immutable type, it won't necessarily be passed by value. The compiler will make the optimal choice for you depending on what the parameter is and what you're doing with it in the function. Okay, that's a quick tour of some
for you
that sounds really interesting. With an ampersand, similar to how it would be in C++. Force it to be passed by reference by identifying. Explicitly list all the variables that you'd like the anonymous function to inherit. Put a comma delimited list of identifiers in braces immediately after the FN keyword. V does have a concept of references. If I'm defining a function that takes a struct as a parameter, I can force it to be passed by reference by prefixing the type with an ampersand.
Okay.
Similar to how it would be in C++. But if I omit the ampersand on an immutable type, it won't necessarily be passed by value. The compiler will make the optimal choice for you depending on what the parameter is and what you're doing with it in the function. Okay.
I think that's a nice feature. Like I feel like Go and a lot of languages conflate passing, because like sometimes you want to pass a pointer to your thing or a reference to your thing because you want it to be modifiable inside of the inner function. And that's getting mixed up with with deciding whether or not you want to pass a pointer to it or you want to copy all the data to it, you know? I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like those are two separate things. One of them is deciding whether you want your function to modify your variable you pass in. That's one decision. And the other decision is, do I want to copy the data or do I want to send the data over with a pointer? And those are like two separate decisions, but in Go, they're like, you either pass a pointer and you have both of those, it's mutable and it's passed by pointer, or you pass the data and it's immutable and it's copied. So it's nice that they automatically determine. I would question though, like how, I don't know, maybe at compile time they can tell, but I don't know, like, they probably make a better guess than me though, you know?
Okay, that's a quick tour of some of the syntax of V. We haven't covered nearly all of its features, but those are just a few to give you a feel for what the language is all about.
I'm curious to hear about the
define a
AutoFree.
module, create a directory with the name of that module. Then include the module keyword followed by module name at the top of each file. Any identifiers like a struct or a function with a public access modifier can be accessed from a different module by using import followed by the module name. As for writing tests, V definitely embraces convention over configuration. All files with names that end in _test are assumed to contain tests. All functions in those files that begin with test underscore are run as tests. There's a built-in assert keyword, which feels more like a core language construct than a function call. No need to use parentheses, just follow it with the Boolean expression that you'd like to test. To run your tests, run the vtest command. Having the entire V toolchain in a binary that is only 1 character long is actually pretty nice. The V command contains most of the operations you'll need, like compiling, running, installing modules, running tests, hot reloading, and so on. Like you'd expect from any modern build tool, you can prefix many commands with watch to have it automatically re-execute each time a file is changed. Vinstall and then the module name will install the V module called Markdown to a global.vmodules directory on your system. It reminds me a bit of how pip works in the Python ecosystem. The speed of the V compiler is one of the main selling.
Oh, that was just installing things. Oh, vinstall markdown.
It reminds me a bit of how pip works in the Python ecosystem. The speed of the V compiler on your system. It reminds me a bit of how pip works in the Python ecosystem. The speed of the V compiler is one of the main selling points on the website, and I didn't really expect to care much about it, but it did feel extremely nice to have my build finished before I could even switch back to the terminal from my IDE. Now let's look at safety and the infamous AutoFree. V doesn't have a borrow checker, which some might be relieved to hear.
I wonder why I called it infamous. I don't think having a borrow checker is necessarily bad.
Here. V is also a bit unique in that you're able to select from a few different memory management strategies. The only other language I've used that allows for this is Nim. At the time this video is being made, the default memory management strategy is garbage collection, but supposedly that's temporary. Fully manual memory management can be enabled, as can what aims to eventually be the default memory management strategy, which is AutoFree. AutoFree claims to, quote, insert necessary free calls automatically during compilation, and to, quote, fall back to reference counting everywhere that isn't possible.
V avoids doing unnecessary allocations in the first place by using value types, string buffers, promoting simple abstraction-free code styles. Most objects, 90 to 100%, are freed by V's AutoFree engine. The compiler inserts necessarily free calls automatically during compilation. Remaining small percentage of objects are freed by reference counting. I feel like that's a good strategy. That's interesting. I wonder if this is, I wonder how this works. Yeah, I'd be curious to know how this works. Like, I'd be curious to know if like Go could do something like this. Like, or like, is this just saying that like, oh, they detect when like this obvious thing's only created in the function and we just automatically free it? Because if that's the case, that's like, it's called heap escaping. And if you like write your functions properly in Go, it'll prevent the data from like escaping to the heap, they call it, and then it'll prevent an allocation. So if they're just saying that, then like that's not super impressive. But if they're saying that like, oh, we'll actually like track some variables and like do a lot more in-depth analysis to add these free calls, then that's kind of cool. Yeah, is their static analysis that good? I don't know. I have now sent 2 super chats and none have gone through. Oh, I don't know. Oh, you got cancellation emails. At least that's good. GC seems good enough these days for almost everything. Yeah, that's been my experience, at least with making my game in Go, is the GC has been fine. So like, and I like, even when I was very, very wasteful with the allocations, my GC seemed good enough. Is compilation deterministic? I don't know. I assume so.
Ostensibly, this should negate the need for a garbage collector or manual memory management.
This should erase the need for a garbage collector or a manual management. Yeah, okay.
have some issues trying to figure out how this is supposed to work, but here's what I've gathered. In Rust, if you create an instance of something in a scope, that thing is automatically deallocated when the instance goes out of scope. In this simple situation, something like reference counting is not needed. When something needs to be deallocated somewhere other than the end of the scope it was defined in Rust, the situation can be addressed using a change in ownership, which might be able to do what you need to do while still guaranteeing memory safety. In C++, you can address this scenario using dynamic memory management via the new and delete keywords, but this puts memory safety in the hands of the developer and is the root cause of an unfathomable number of software bugs. If you can tolerate a little extra memory and performance overhead, you can use automatic reference counting in these scenarios. In Rust, you can do that using the RC smart pointer. Okay, so back to AutoFree. My understanding is that V's AutoFree aims to automatically detect whether something should be deallocated at the end of the scope it was defined in, or whether it requires reference counting. This is supposed to happen without any developer input. Every other language I've used, including Rust, requires this decision to be made by the developer. Having the compiler make this decision for you sounds pretty ideal in most cases, but there's currently no documentation on how this is ultimately supposed to work, and there is some
I like this one. How is this even possible? Well, like what he's describing with this example, where it's just a single scope, like that's a very basic one, and like I think even Go does that, where it's like, oh, you don't just like you allocate something and then you like don't send it anywhere, then like, oh, we don't have to make that. Well, we can make a heap allocation, we can deallocate it immediately. The halting problem comes to mind. Yeah, I mean, like it's just a hard thing to track because you don't know, like once you return this, you don't know like where it's being used. I think to some degree you could track this probably. It just depends on how much analysis you want to do, I guess. But yeah, like some things are like impossible. Some things would be like, I think, impossible to track. Like you'd have to run the entire, like you're saying, you have to run the entire program to know.
In most cases, but there's currently no documentation on how this is ultimately supposed to work, and there is some skepticism in the community as to whether it's even possible. If the promise of auto-free memory management is the reason,
I do think there's some situations though, and maybe this is what they're doing. Like in Rust, sometimes I've been like, well, this is very obviously going to be deallocated here. Like, why do I have to manage? Why do I have to think about anything? Like I'm making something in the top of the function and I'm getting rid of it at the end, and like I don't know why I have to make so many decisions. And maybe they're kind of like making it so you don't have to make those decisions. I don't know. I probably don't know enough about the problem though to like really say for sure whether this is a possible thing to do, because I don't really even think I understand exactly what they're trying to make. I think I get like I think I understand the pain point though. I don't understand the solution though.
Reason you'd like to learn or use V, I'd exercise a little bit of caution. If the roadmap for AutoFree does become a bit clearer after this video is released, I'll explain the latest developments in a pinned comment below. Now let's talk about some of the controversy surrounding the V language. After researching a bit, the language seems to have a reputation for overpromising and underdelivering, at least in the past. Some claim that there have been many times where features have been advertised before they're implemented, or before they're in a state that can be claimed that there have been.
This is worse than Go. Their mutability is somehow mutable. Performance is I'm not going to say that. Hole with different memory leaks, unresolved for years. It even has plans of transpiling Golang libraries to V. Please do more research before creating videos. Uh-oh. What's wrong with transpiling Golang libraries to V? I guess they don't have to write them.
There have been many times where features have been advertised before they're implemented, or before they're in a state that can be considered complete. Now, I haven't looked into the validity before they're implemented, or before.
I remember when V was announced like a year ago. I also remember when the author lying about certain features. I don't remember what. Oh, this. I think I remember something about this too on Hacker News. Someone sent me, like one of you guys sent me. It was like something. I think it was something about security. Though.
Or they're in a state that can be considered complete. Now, I haven't.
V's doing great. Love seeing intelligence investment in the language with plugin support and dedication of developer towards the language.
I haven't looked into the validity of any of these claims, but I did notice a lack of information around the vision for AutoFree memory management. Here's a Reddit thread where someone was asking about how AutoFree is supposed to work. I'm not sure if the person responding is a V developer, but in reading through the thread, it felt like they were avoiding the poster's question, basically telling them that they have no business asking such a question until they've tried the language. I felt like that's pretty short-sighted, since I think it's natural to want to know about a language's features prior to investing time into learning it. The original poster didn't have the best tone in his question, but the tone of the responses he got was pretty much the opposite of what you'd want as your first impression of the community surrounding a technology. Of course, this is just one anecdote, and ultimately, I don't think it should discourage anyone from trying the language. That's a quick tour of the V programming language and what sets it apart from other modern languages. It's not something I'd put all my eggs into quite yet, but it's worth keeping tabs on, especially if AutoFree winds up fulfilling its promise. If you like interesting programming languages that you might not have heard of, check out this video for some other programming languages that you might not have tried. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
That was a good video. I like that. Seems to still be a toy language, not gonna lie. Yeah, I like small ego-centered community. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I like a lot of the ideas they have on building programming languages, like the design of how you use it. Like a lot of the things that a lot of the pain points I feel like that I have sometimes, they'll solve. It seems like they're trying to solve them. Yeah, it does seem like they're very they're still a very new language. So that's like the risk part, I think, is like, oh, am I going to spend all my time like moving over to this language when I don't really know how the support's going to progress? I guess they have a ton of issues, so maybe there's a big community around it. It's just one of those things. Yeah, I really wish that they would explain how that's planned to work, because like if that's just like what other languages already do, then it's not as impressive. Because I think that that's a very hard problem. I don't think that's like an easy problem to solve. And so like if that's your if that's going to be your killer feature, then that should be like the first thing you build, not like, oh, we'll do it later when we figure it out. Because I feel like a lot of the language, like in Rust, a lot of the language design centers around the borrow checker, because the borrow checker is the killer feature. So in V, if they're going to have this AutoFree thing, then their language design should center around making that as smooth as possible. How's it different from like a C++ pointer lib? I don't know. I guess I don't really know what you mean by C++ pointer lib. Like smart pointers, do you mean? I guess if you mean smart pointers, I think that there's a lot of similarities. Like they have reference counting, which a lot of smart pointers use as an underlying mechanism. And then I think there's, I don't even remember the different ones. There's like unique pointer. So I guess that can only be one. Yeah, okay, yeah, smart pointers. Yeah, I guess unique, I don't actually know how unique pointers work under the hood. Gotcha, okay. Yeah, I mean, it could just be C++ smart pointers, but like they kind of like implicitly push them in depending on where it is, you know? Like they just kind of guesstimate what it should be, a unique pointer or array, or not guesstimate, but they can tell which one it can be based off of how many assignments happen or something like that. Like if you know a variable never gets assigned anywhere else, you can make it a unique pointer. And I think unique, I guess we could look it up. I think when these go out of reference, they deallocate, right? That's the thing. So like if you could statically tell that something never needs to get moved, you could like implicitly make it a unique pointer, right? And you just do that for every single pointer value. But yeah, like then you have, yeah, I think that then there's some optimizations that you might want to use a unique pointer, but you can't now if it implicitly sets it, you know, because you need to do something like a move. I don't know. I think it's an interesting space for sure, though. Like, I think there's a lot of ways going around to go about this type of language design. But yeah, I do think that I do have the impression that Rust has some like overcomplicatedness inside of it. So I'm all for like languages trying to make it easier to get that low level performance. Also, they do have a cute little ferret. So, how big is their Patreon? I've heard Oberon a lot. I'm curious what that is now. 36 Patreons. All I wanted was Go without nil values. Use option T or something instead. Yeah, with that, I think you have to make a match statement too to unpack the options. So I think some types would be very nice though. I think design is more noteworthy than fixing C issues. Oh, language. It tries to be simple. Interesting. No brackets. I know some people like this where you do like a begin and an end, but I'm not a huge fan of that. I just think it's hard to look at. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's just hard to look at. I think symbols do help sometimes split stuff up. All right. Well, that was an interesting video. Thanks for linking that. We learned today. We've done our research. Now when somebody asks about V, I'll know. I'll have something to say. I'll be like, I watched a video about it. And then I'll be like, I don't know what I don't remember it at all though. I added something yesterday, but I don't remember. Toru. Oh, I added these spawning indicators. Take a look. Check those out. Now you can see where the things spawn before they spawn. Oh, thank you, Dracula. I appreciate it, buddy. Good job. Thank you. Yeah, do you guys like these? Little exclamation points. Unit makes game programming so easy. I don't know about that. You guys don't see the hours of struggling. Death animation, it's cool. Good. Yeah, one of the complaints I heard was that it was annoying when something would spawn like right on top of you. And so yeah, I was trying to fix that. It was actually really hard to make. Cause like just how I architectured my networking, like I send over the entire thing. So now I had to send over I have to send over the exclamation point first. So I send over this object and then I have to replace it with this object. But I have to replace it on a very specific tick. So I have to like enqueue it and be like spawn this thing on this tick. And it ends up being like kind of it's a little bit of a mess, but it works. But I feel like the game's like really is really looking like a little bit more legitimate recently. So I'm happy about that. I need to despawn for the crystals though. They just kind of disappear. Why does the NPC entity not have preload state where it just renders a different sprite instead? Yeah, so I thought about doing something like that. The only problem with doing it that way is there's a lot of like internal components that I don't want to, like there's a lot of internal systems on the NPC that I don't want to have running until it spawns. Everything looks different, but my powerballs are still there. Yeah. Oh yeah. They'll remain there for a while, I'm sure. I tried to add a little glow to the outer edge of them, but I could never make it look good. So I kind of gave up. So like, for example though, like, I don't want the colliders to be enabled. So now I have to have this thing that's like, oh, enable the colliders, you know? And then I don't want them to start planning their like NPC routes. So I have to say like, oh, if you're spawning still, don't do this. So it's easier to just be like skipping that. But that was definitely an option for sure. But yeah, what's coming together? It is coming together. All right. Client, ace. I have like a weapons. I made a bunch of weapons a while ago. There's the stick. I say we add like a sword next. Let's do this. Where's the stick? I'm having so many Sprite files now though that it's like I really need to like prefix these. I think I'm gonna start making folders, like subfolders, like weapon / stick, you know? I guess if I'm not gonna animate these, I could. I could put them all into one thing. No, I'm gonna make them separate. Otherwise, I think it's just gonna be too confusing. All right, let's do this. Weapon sword. Yeah, I guess though, I'm gonna have to have an Sprite file for every single item, aren't I? I'm trying to think if I could compress that into one Sprite file. I'm just gonna leave it on, I'm just gonna be multiple. I've had this problem where if I copy too many pixels from one to another, it'll crash the one I copy it to, or it'll crash the program. We'll do a little selection. Use animation frames and export. Yeah. So then it would be like weapon dash sword or something like that. I guess that is an option. Like I could tag each of these. The problem, I'm trying to think though. I guess that's doable. Then I have all my weapons. The problem is if I do want to start putting complicated animations in each one, it's not going to scale very well. Yeah, well, I think my exporter script will actually be fine. Because, it would really be this one. There would be one. Oh. I'll have to export it on this one. This one does a the file name, the tag, and then the tag frame that it's on. So I would have to disable animations because otherwise my export script, what it'll think it's going to do, it'll think that this is one, like if let's say I do a tag here, stick, and I do sword, right? Let's say I do that. this is gonna think it's the sword animation of the weapon object, you know? Like that's how it imports. So if I wanted to have like a sword attack or sword like, you know what I mean? I guess it's not terrible. I don't know. I'm gonna stick with the other way though for now. And if it gets too unruly, I'll just change it. Let's make a this is like a spear. I'm gonna make a different weapon though. Like it's really a matter of organization. It's like, do I want to have a bunch of files, each with their own sprite, or do I want to have one file with a bunch of sprites on it? I want to do weapon bow. We'll do a bow as well. Those will be our 3 weapons. I'll have a sword and a bow. The bow's gonna be hard though. Oh, that's that problem that I mentioned, where I copied too many pixels. Weapon bow. No, I did it again. I don't need that one. I need this one. No, I need, yeah, this one. Okay. This might just be too big. What is that? 7 by 23. This is 16 by 16. So I need to make this bigger. That's the other hard thing, is if I want to have a big weapon and small weapons, I guess I could trim them all. Oh, it looks nice. Yeah. I don't want you guys to think that I'm good at drawing. I'm mostly using art packs right now, so oops. But yeah, it does look good. I think I might recolor it though. Too late. Unit of art. All right, let's see here. That one, this. Or we'll do this, all of those. Sorry, I have to change the color palette. For that one, and I need to change it for this one too. I changed my color palette recently. I feel like this looks weird. Yeah, it does look terrible. That's where all the board money's going. Yeah, pretty much. Oops. I feel like that looks weird. I was just curious. I was just curious how this would look. It looks a lot more aggressive. I like it. Little chopper. All right. I know I want white here. Light blue. That seems fine. Okay. Weapon. Sword. Weapon. I really need to make this just look up every file in here and export it. The problem is I have certain ones that do different, I have different exports. I need to combine all these to have one export. Weapon bow. So we'll do make generate. All right, then we just need to, I think I've actually been kind of lazy with how I do the weapon rendering. And I literally just like, if you have a weapon, I render a stick. So I think I actually have to add quite a bit here. Mog, client, draw. Let's see here. Stick. Yeah, look at this. Draw weapon, draw stick. What I really need to do is a weapon sprite. Oh, okay, cool. I already had something planned for this, I guess. I think I just do this actually. Hello, you kitten. New sprite. Okay, good. Okay, good. So that'll hold the sprite. And then for each sprite, I'll be able to just draw it. I guess this won't draw this. Maybe it would. Let me be right back. I'm gonna make some more coffee and then we will get back into it. Give me a second. Where's the streamer? I went to make some coffee, went to the bathroom, played with my cats, and we're back. He's right there in my screen. He's in this little box. Could you imagine if you brought back like some of today's technology back to like the olden days? They'd be so impressed. They'd think you were a wizard. They'd think you were a grand wizard. Grand wizard of the humans. We lost the streamer, call the cops. Yep. I was gone. Where do I make weapon sprite? That's the question. Grand Wizard unit, be careful. Oh, is that a bad thing? Oh. I know what that is from. Oh. Your Discord sound tricked me? Why? What happened? Oh, did my Discord go off? It was me. I guess I'm not doing animations on these yet, am I? Oh well. I think I have load here, don't I? All right, so we get rid of this now. And then we do stick sprite. We do this. We do weapon sprite. We do weapon sprite. We do weapon sprite. And now it should be using the sprite component, but it will be a weapon sprite.sprite. All right, we're getting closer. Oh, this is a gotcha. Okay. Not a pointer. Not a pointer. All right, cool. So when we build this sprite now, what we want to do is we want to pick the sprite from a list. Let's go to the loader, make a weapon map. I know I have weapon types. I think it's in this file called config. Yeah. Weapon type. Mog.weapon type to string. Weapon stick will be shoot, what was it? Stick 0. That sounds right. Okay. So we'll do that, and then we'll do Well, to make a function that's like get sprite. Oh. Hello, you. What's up, Jomi? That Discord sound was because of me. Blowing up my phone. I think I heard my phone vibrate. All right. So now we'll have a load weapon sprite or something like that. Did you hear my cat squeaking? Getting used to the new keyboard right now? Do you like it? No, can we get another one? He ran off. He ran off to play. It's a tough life they live, these kittens. Not sure if 2 thumb buttons are a good idea. Why? Oh, you mean like 2 buttons on 1 thumb? Yeah, I don't think I could reach over and hit it. So I just stick with the 1. I just put the bottom one in, and it seems pretty good. So in this case, though, I think if I do... Actually, I'm not going to return sprite. I'm going to return glitch.sprite. That way I can return nil. So if I can't find the weapon sprite, I just want it to be nil, and I won't have a weapon. Let me think here. I guess I do L dot sprite now. I'm just gonna say name. Cool. Does it return an error? No, it doesn't. Cool. All right, so now we just do weapon sprite, new sprite, g.load.weapon sprite, and we do, oh, I have to get weapon type now, don't I? Let's think about this. Do I get it anywhere else? Regenerate sprite. Where is weapon type stored? I don't even remember. Or if I make the second one have a higher keycap. That's a good idea, actually. If I switch over to low profile keycaps, I might put those ones in, and then you can just like reach a little bit further to the taller one and press it down. I was gonna put my rotary encoders on both thumbs, but then I was like, I don't really think I'm ever gonna use these things, so I just opted to leave it out. Weapon. Oh, weapon type has a... Must be an equipment, right? If I was gonna put a weapon anywhere, I probably would put it here. Yeah, okay, I did put it here. So I do just have it in equipment change. That's why it's in this. Regenerate Sprite. Yeah, this should actually be in here. I do equipment. I do hat, then I do oh, that's why I didn't put it in here, isn't it? I guess I could do ECS.write. Oh no, I can do this, can't I? G.game.world ID ECS.c weapon sprite side new sprite gload weapon sprite equipment.weapon. I use Vim style controls for the mouse. Oh really? I feel like it'd be hard to move your mouse with your keyboard. I have had some buttons that do it. Like sometimes when I'm recording a YouTube video, it's nice to have like my mouse scroll at the same speed. So like I'll press a button and have the mouse move, but it's more of a it's like an accessibility option. Toggle by pressing some tap dance keys. Nice. What key? I'm trying to remember what keyboard you have, Sammy. What's up, Daniel? Welcome to the stream. Iris from Keybuy. Yeah, I wonder where you got that one from. That's the same keyboard I have. I've been using it for a month or so. A month or two now. Interesting. Yeah, mouse seems oh, Keychron V10 Alice layout. Dang. I kind of want to get low profile keycaps. I would like my keyboard to be lower, I feel like. So I feel like my wrists are kind of bent back. All right, so this should take the equipment's weapon type, get the weapon sprite for it, wrap it in another sprite, and then store it here. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, they do. That's the problem. I have to build a whole nother keyboard. That's why I was interested in the hot swap connectors, because it's like, oh, maybe I could just swap out the switches. Because the cherry ones are just too tall. Oh, I know what happened. They the monsters have weapons too, but I don't have a sprite for them. So when this happens, it's unable, it gets a null here, which gets passed here. There we go. I think the best thing I got out of custom keyboard is the home row mod keys. I don't understand how I could live without them. Yeah. Yeah, it's, well, I like the thumb, like on the Iris, you have these thumb buttons, you know, and those are like your mod keys now, which is really nice. You don't use your pinkies as much. Yeah. Now we're talking. All right, let's make another weapon. So then what'll happen basically is if there's no sprite associated, it's just not going to draw sprite. Save my pinkies from all that work. I think from an ergonomic standpoint, using the thumbs is the most is a good idea. Yeah. Yeah, my thumbs are super strong. They're jacked. They're just massive. I have massive thumbs. Lift at least 2 pounds with them. 2 pounds each. I go to the thumb gym. We should do a thumb war. A thumb, what's it called? Thumb wrestle. We should thumb wrestle. So he's got the bulkier thumb. Thumb is a big part of arm wrestling. Is it really? Only 2 pounds? Weak. Did you really? Tell me about that. That's interesting. I watch sometimes on I'll watch YouTube shorts every once in a while, and there's this guy, Devin Larrett or something like that, and he's like he's like a big arm wrestler, but he also makes those videos, you know? And he looks massive. That guy has like some big hands, and he's got some big forearms. It's impressive. And he would like talk though. He'd talk about like that there's like technique to it, you know? Which it sounds so weird. Cause it's like, don't you just like push as hard as you can? But I guess there's like some give and take a little bit. I don't know. It seems really interesting though. It seems more deep. It seems deeper than it looks, which is interesting. He was on the Lex Friedman podcast too. I saw him there, which was interesting as well. He's pretty well spoken, so. What are they doing? Oh yeah, we want to do a sword now. We'll make this one do 2 damage. Everything's gonna be the same though. Basically, you do forearm and arm exercises with a very limited range of motion. Wait, why limited? Oh, because to develop the static strength. Oh. Interesting. So you can hold. Gotcha. Huh. Do you, what got you into it? What got you into arm wrestling? Because that's interesting. I'll be right back. I'm going to get my coffee because I think it's been brewing for a while. And I also have to pick up my cat's food because he's stealing the other cat's food. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Did not do a lot of training, but I was always interested in strength. I stumbled upon some hand gripper trainers, then arm wrestling training. Oh, interesting. Yeah, there's this other guy on YouTube Shorts that's like, what's it called? Gripzilla or something like that. And he does a lot of weird videos. It's mostly him like breaking stuff. It's like, is it harder to break this or break this? And he's like, he'll snap like a handful of pencils or something. Which is, yeah, definitely stronger than me. Yeah, I got into rock climbing a little bit, and that has a lot of grip strength component to it as well. But I never did like grip trainers or anything like that. Oh yeah, then you're probably good at grip trainers. Yeah, well, not anymore. I used to be into rock climbing, but it really hurts your fingers after a while. Like I could see how you could develop early onset arthritis or something like that just from rock climbing. And because like I type a bunch, it's like I don't really want to have that. I don't want to have that life when I'm older. So I kind of stopped. I stopped partially because of that. It's really hard on your fingers. But yeah, I used to be able to do a lot of pull-ups. Unit of rock climber. Yep. I wasn't that good, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. It's like a very it's like a fun thing to go and do every once in a while. But I wouldn't do it as seriously as I was doing it. Where I'd go like multiple times a week and like try for it and stuff like that. You do get some beefy fingers though. Yeah. It's a very like problems. I think it's a good thing for like engineer type people, because like you basically sit there and you try to like solve the problem, you know? You try to solve the problem that your like the route problem. It's insane how your hands can actually grow a bit. Yeah. Like my hands definitely used to be a lot bigger. Now they've gone back to their like slender, because I have very thin fingers. They're not super thin, but some people have like really wide fingers. I don't have super wide fingers. You guys have seen. You'll see my hands. You've seen my fingers. All right, now we just need to switch this guy over. So when he spawns with a sword. Sever. Hanging on a rock. Pass me the laptop. I need to write a pathfinding algorithm. Yep. Dude, that was me. That was me in there every day. I didn't talk to anybody. I just sat there, coded, and then when I wasn't coding, I was rock climbing. I'm just kidding. I feel like it's good. It's good if you work a lot to have something where you don't think about working. Like you need a break. You need a break from it. It's too easy to get consumed, you know? Weapon type, weapon sword. Like for Jomi, it's drinking. I'm just kidding. For Jomi, it's probably metal concerts. Check out this sword. We got 2 damage. Dang, dude, this thing's a weapon. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. We're clearing dungeons today. I heard that. Oh, I missed that dash. What do you guys think of this transparency? When you dash now to show that you get like a little bit of invincibility, I made you a little bit transparent. Does that come across or not really? Yeah, okay. Oh no, I'm definitely dead. Cool. We'll switch that back to weapon stick. And I guess we could do a bow next. The thing with a bow though is it's gonna be different on how it it's gonna be different how it mounts, like how the player holds it. It's gonna hold entirely pointed at the like this one I hold behind it almost. The unit of stream meme. So much progress. Yeah, it's only been an hour and a half and we have one new sprite in the game. Isn't that amazing? But we did learn. We learned about VLang. So I can't be too upset about that. I learned something today. Today I learned. Like this one's like swipes kind of, you know, that's the animation. But a bow, I'm just gonna point straight at it. Yeah, I feel like it is looking pretty cool. I have this weird like mishmash art style though, where like some things have borders, like these all have a black border on them. All of the sprites do. But then a lot of like the environment doesn't have borders. And also the stick, for example, doesn't have a border. So I don't know like if that looks okay. This was so hard to get working, going behind these. Do I think to make a block mechanism? Yeah, I've thought about, like I want to add like interesting abilities and stuff like that. So that when you're going through the dungeon, there's a little bit of decision making of what gear you're going to take. I haven't like totally worked out exactly what it's going to be, but it'll probably be something like an on-hand ability, like a sword, and then an off-hand ability, like a dash. And then like maybe you could replace the dash with a block or something like that, you know? And so like the dash is beneficial because it moves you and also you don't get hit, but then a block would be beneficial because like if you're with a bunch of people, you could block and they don't take damage behind you because you blocked a projectile, for example. That's kind of what I've been thinking. Yeah, you did miss the VLang part. You can go back and watch it though. It's pretty much like it's pretty early on in the stream. It's like one of the first things. It's like it is the first thing we did, other than like me getting coffee and stuff like that. All right, bows. Weapon, sword, weapon. The interesting thing about all of these is the only difference between them is like the damage and the distance. They all just shoot one projectile. I just wonder if it's actually as good as the creator promises now. Yeah, I mean they talk about that at because we basically just watched a video about it, and they talk about that at the end of the video. You can also watch the video if you just want to watch that. Dracula put it in Discord. I need to abstract out the like pattern that gets shot from these from the actual weapon. So I can basically like configure an underlying weapon from like each of these, you know? Because right now I think it's just too complicated what I have. I guess I do it a little bit. I have like a pattern, but it just feels like a lot. Weapon stick, weapon sword, weapon bow. Oops. We'll make this damage 1. Start distance will be 10. That's like where it spawns relative to the player. Someone needs to test it out and let us know if it's bad. Yeah, get Conifer on it. He'll do a what's it called? He'll do a Raylib binding for it, I'm sure. I haven't seen him around in a while. I wonder what he's doing. Projectile duration, we'll make this go for a whole second. Projectile type, projectile arrow. Oh, I need to do that. Let's do that really quickly. I've been so inconsistent. Sometimes I do underscores, sometimes I do dashes. Oh gosh. I wanted to switch to dashes. Don't judge me. Okay. Then we go back to here. We'll just copy this guy over. I need to recolor this as well. What is this? 20? Oh, this is also 20. Perfect fit. We can delete this. We can delete this. We can delete this. I think I actually want this to be this way, because I think all of my rotations start this way. Like I have everything pointing right, basically. All right, I'm actually gonna make this canvas size smaller. I wanna make it this size though. Or no, maybe I wanna do this. Because then it's gonna get extruded out, which will be good. I know that there's a button which is like, oh, crop, trim. This seems good. Don't save. All right, let's go to our export script, and we will add give me 1 second. All right, we're back. Okay. Then we have projectile map, projectile arrow. No. Yeah, I do worry though that I'm gonna have a ton of Sprite files, and it's gonna be so annoying to like, oh, where's this one? Oh, where's this one? It would be nice to like, if I have a bunch of different arrow types, it would be nice to have one arrow file, you know? I'll have to think about it in the future. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I'll just worry myself to death. Let's go ahead and fix these too. While I'm in here, one in Rome, you know what I mean? Okay. Did you see the arrow action in Legend of Zelda: The Swords of Adventure? Oh, Four Swords Adventures? No, I didn't. It's interesting to use. Let me look. Oops. Arrow. Actually, I never really played Legend of Zelda all that much. Is there like a... Oh, they just have different... Like which part was of the Game Boy Advance game? Yeah, I never had a Game Boy Advance. What was like? What was unique about it? What made it fun? All right. What I hope is going to happen, we're going to have a bow, but it's going to be like equipped weirdly. Yeah. Oh, I clicked and the arrow did not spawn. Oh, this is in our factory. What is this on the? Yeah, okay. Oh, projectile sizes map. Projectile arrow. That is the nice part about Rust, is like they would have checked that for me and I would never had to, I guess I would have had a compile failure still, but it's nice when it's statically checked like that. I almost only ever get those. I pretty much have never gotten those in production though. They've always been on in development. It's like it's an obvious issue. Oh, I forgot to run make generate. Oops. I want to make like a an asset hot reloader or something like that. And then I don't have to do this auto generation stuff. This looks so goofy. Also, it's interesting that when the arrows go over the, like when you walk up this, you walk up, but the arrows don't. When you shoot the arrow hits a wall, the arrow swings. Oh, it makes like a snapping noise, like it makes a noise of it sticking. Yeah, for arrows, they probably shouldn't explode like this. They should stick. If it hits a wall, at least. I just like I like his animation where he's just like swinging a bow around and is not actually, I don't know. The arrows actually did pretty well though. Now I can hang pretty far back. They last for a pretty long time though. The collider box is a lot smaller though. My cat stepped on my keyboard and made me exit the game. What are you doing, kitten? What are you doing? V looks pretty nice. Rust is waiting for you unit. Definitely has some nice features. Yeah, I feel like there are some. Infinite arrows in the quiver. I want it. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have ammunition counts in my game, so don't worry about it. You'll have infinite arrows. That's true. I haven't tried out Swift yet. I swear, dude, one day I'm gonna have to write up my own language because I'm gonna be so inspired by all these other languages. I want to like Rust. I just like some things about it I just don't like. You need some Swift in your life? Yeah, maybe I do. That's why I keep writing languages. I would love to make my own language, but I don't think I keep learning them. Yeah. Yeah, like you learn, it's like, because like now I've seen the V video, so I've seen like a lot of things that are solved in V that I have problems with in Go, you know? And it's like, man, I could probably just add those on, right? One thing though, Go just has a really good concurrency story, you know? I feel like they've got just the best. How about contributing to up-and-coming language? Yeah, I don't know if I'm like just a mega control freak, but like it's called. Oh, okay, I gotcha. I thought you were being serious. But you're talking about Newt Lang. Yeah, no, I'd love to be a contributor on Newt Lang. I don't know if they'd have me though. The team's pretty advanced. I don't think my IQ is high enough. for to be a part of that team. They'd love to. I feel like if I made a language, I'd have to make the exact language that I wanted, you know? I don't think I could. Someone's gonna rewrite the parser so it's more stable. That'll be my job. But yeah, I think if I did make a language, I probably would make something like, I probably would make a simpler version of Rust. That would be my objective. Simpler version of Rust, but with Go's concurrency. I would build Go on Rust. There you go. We'd hire you. That's called Swift. But Swift doesn't have. Does Swift have race guarantees? Swift. I already don't like it. Show me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a huge. I don't know. It's weird to do like a. I don't know, man. What does let do? Excuse me? I knew it. I don't like async functions. Maybe I'm just too dumb to understand them, but I just. It just seems really hard. Let is like let in Rust. But it's just weird that I have to. Var is like let mute. Oh, gotcha. Oh, because it's a variable. I don't think Swift has async await. I just saw this. Maybe that's the function though. See, yeah, I don't know. This is. I don't understand the syntax. Q async. Q dot async. That's just spawning a new thread. Oh, okay. What is this? What is this? Yeah. It's just it's so different than like anything I've done. Like I don't know what this means. But I guess I'd have to learn the stuff. Maybe I need to watch a Swift video. Maybe it'll sell me on it. That is the problem though with watching these videos. Like I'll watch what's his name? No Boilerplate. He'll talk about Rust, and I'll be like, damn, that sounds real good. And then I'll try Rust, and I'll be like, actually, I don't know. Like there's the promises are nice, you know. I can't hop languages. I can't change languages yet. My Rust build was taking 240 seconds when deploying. That is the other thing about Rust. I think when we could hire you as an intern and you can bring us coffee while we go noodling. There you go. That's a good idea, actually. I'd love to be hired. As long as you pay me in Newt bucks or Newt coin, one of the two. That's how much it takes to type check my extremely inline expressions in Swift. Oh, 240 seconds. Does Swift have long compile times? I'm a Java developer. I want to try Rust and Golang. I think they're good. I think they're both good languages. Oh, not really. Compile times are important. And when I was working, the compile times were so long. It really breaks up your day. Because imagine like just having like you're doing a bunch of work, you're being really productive, and then it's like, all right, now I have to go wait for like 3 minutes. I have to just sit here for 3 minutes and wait for this thing to finish. And then by that time, I've already forgotten what I was doing. I think with multi-stage Docker files, yeah. Only thing is the type checker can sometimes take a lot of time. Oh, gotcha. Oh, usually fixed by just adding type annotations. Gotcha. Yeah. It's a tough balance for sure. I'm 99% of the time I'm happy with Go, with the stuff in Go. There are a few things which is like, man, it would be nice if I had a way to do this thing. But I can appreciate that they don't want to add a bunch of bloat for little things like that. Because most people don't probably have the same problems as me, but a lot of people maybe do. It would be nice if they had some sort of metaprogramming facility. I get that there's like Go generate, but I wish there was something that was a little bit more, I don't know. I understand why they won't ever do it, but it would be nice if I could just like add something to remove a lot of my boilerplate. But so I've done code generation for things like that in the past, but yeah, and it's usually not too hard. It's just a little bit of a pain. Luckily, they have really good parsing libraries for the Go AST, so it's pretty easy to like go through that and just generate what you need. I'm at work compiling C++ right now. It takes 20 minutes for a clean compile. Jeez. I couldn't even imagine. I hope you never have to do a clean compile. That's massive. Google gonna kill it in a few years anyways. Just join Rust anyway. That's that's a worry. I feel like the people behind Go are less of Google and more of like the old like Unix Plan 9 team. You know what I mean? Like I bet if Google killed Go, they would probably like leave Google and work on Go without funding or something like that. Like that's the impression I get. I did think about switching to Rust, honestly, but I decided not to. VLang compiles less than 1 second. Yeah, V seems very very simple. Or it seems like it had a good simple like organization. I liked V. V seemed like an interesting language. I'm curious to see how it progresses. I feel like it's a lot of work to make a language, you know? Especially to make a mainstream language. What was I doing? Oh yeah. When we show the bow weapon, we need to have, I need to display it differently. It's gonna be kind of hard. It's gonna be kind of weird. Rust compiles, hello world in 1 second too. What about big project? That's how you make a scripting language. That's true. See a lot of K's, a lot of H's. Now we can delete this now. All this complicated like angling thing, I don't have to do now. I just don't know how to separate the two. Why not ditch Go and just go for Newtlang? Yeah, that's in the forefront of my mind. I'm writing a transpiler right now to just migrate my code over for me. I thought my cat was gonna fall off of the desk. He's looking a little wobbly. Rust is excellent. I like Rust. I don't think Rust is a bad language by any means. I think it's a good language for sure. I guess when we make the weapon sprite, we can say we can do a let's do this game. So when we make this, we'll have to also look up I don't know, like how you hold type or something like that. I don't really know what to call this. Maybe I just do this. I just do weapon type. That way I can that way in here I can just say if you're this weapon, do it this way. If you're this other weapon, do it this other way. The alternative is I have something at this point which is I guess I do have weapon here, which has weapon type in it, doesn't it? Oh, I thought it did. Let me think here. It's just a matter of whether or not I want to make the decision here in the loader, or if I want to make the decision here in the system. Do you use Pac-Man or AUR? I use both of them, but I prefer to use Pac-Man. I prefer to use like the like the proper Arch repos over the user repo. A little bit more well vetted, I think. I'm being too indecisive here. I don't really want to have the configuration here though. Because then what's gonna have to happen is I'm gonna have to like remember, oh, I need to go to this system to tell it this weapon also swings like this. I don't know. I don't know, hold style. I'm gonna call it weapon hold style. Weapon hold bow. And then we'll just do weapon map. Weapon hold style map. Stick is weapon hold sword. So is sword. We hold that like a sword. This one's weapon hold bow. Give me 1 second. All right. I agree with Jomi. I also agree with myself, says Jomi. Unreal. The nerve. Ridiculous. This guy. I should maybe just do this right now. Just pass in the It is sometimes nice though to get just the sprite. We'll figure it out later. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do. G.load.weapon sprite. Or that. Equip.weapon. And we're just gonna put all of this work inside of here. That's weird. More progress. Yes. Every minute the clock's ticking, we make more progress. Practicing 4 to 5 years to become stable. After 5 years, computers will be more efficient and garbage collector will be faster and more efficient. We should not get stuck in the past. Yeah, I mean, yeah, computers are always getting faster, I guess. I think there's definitely some reason, like there's some situations in which you don't want to use a garbage collector, obviously, but I think for my cases, I'm pretty much am fine using one. Actually, I'm gonna do this. Paste that first. All right. We'll put this up here. Swift memory management superior. You're fired. L dot sprite name weapon sprite. This seems right. This seems right. And we'll do this. Hold style. Oh, I can't return nil anymore. So this will return. I guess we'll do this. Hold style weapon. Hold style map. I'd rather I'd rather all of this stuff get loaded at launch, I feel like. And then I just return the weapon sprite. That's what I would prefer. No, maybe that's actually not a good idea. All right, then we'll do sprite.weapon_type. Or no, not weapon type, sprite.holdStyle. Sprite.side. Sprite.sprite. 1. Weapon stick, weapon hold sword. Can I use weapon hold sword? Oh, it's not a string. Weapon hold style. Hold style. We gotta go to weapon sprite and fix that next. All right. We're hucking our arrows still. Now we can change this. Now that we have weapon sprite and it knows how it should be held, we just do if weapon sprite dot hold style equals weapon hold sword. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Nope, that's not what I wanted. All right, we do I'm just gonna keep these completely separate. All right. Let's see. So for this one, we just want to do the aim vector. I think I just have to do this. Weapon bias, we don't have to do that. We just do angle, aim angle. We rotate the bow at the angle that we rotate to. This one just biases it so the depth is correct. That's depth as well. I feel like there's something else. Oh, we use aim vector to get the angle. Okay, let's try this. Draw pause. Oh, wait a second. Aim vector, yeah, because we do want to push the bow out along that vector a little bit. So we rotate aim vector rotated by the hold angle. What's hold angle? Yeah, we don't want to rotate this. Yeah, so we take the position, we add the aim vector scaled by the hold distance. That seems right, actually. Hold distance. I think I hard coded that. Let's copy both of those. All right, cross your fingers. Look at us. Uh-oh, it shoots from his, it doesn't shoot from where the bow is, unfortunately. Which does look a little bit weird. It's like offset, it's always below it. Perfect. Swift is good for real-time applications, but it consumes a lot of processor. Perhaps one of the reasons why the iPhone battery drains quickly. It doesn't consume more or less of the same resources as Go. Yeah, I think that probably depends more on how the application was written. I don't know that much about Swift though. Has no garbage collection, causing spikes in performance. I'm learning a lot today, guys. Thank you. Yeah, of course, buddy. Thanks for stopping in. iPhone battery is very small compared to Android. Current iPhone 14 has 3279. That's a very specific number. Is that milliamp hours? It's always learning full with us. Always. Yeah, I have a Android. That looks good. I mean, it's not terrible. No, it looks weird, doesn't it? It's just like very obviously not shooting out of the center. How many cups of coffee am I at? I'm at 2. I'm gonna try to hold back, stick with 2 today. I think it's because of this shoulder biasing that I do, because I try to push it up a little bit. But when I spawn the projectile, I don't do that. So we can make the shoulder bias 0. Yeah, there we go. That seems a little bit more like I'm holding it out wide, you know? What do you guys think? That look good? I probably will have to have an animation on this eventually, but for now I think I'm just gonna have it sit. Like do a little bow, or like push it forward or something. A shoot animation one day. Man, I suck at aiming. Yeah, it is looking better. The colliders are very small on these arrows, which is kind of an interesting balance thing. Gotta be precise, little sniper. I thought about adding joysticks to this game, like so you could play on like a controller. But I feel like it would be too hard. I feel like I'd have to do like a lot of auto aim or something. There we go. Dead. Death comes for us all. Power up, make the arrows homing. Power up when you plug your controller in. That's some good progress today. This might be the end though. Let's see, where are we at? Two hours, 15 minutes. That's a pretty solid stream for me. And we learned some stuff. We learned V programming. We're expert V programmers now. Gamedev not good in game newt. Not newt. You can now search for a job in VLang. Yeah, for the like need 15 years of experience in VLang. I have at least that now. I watched an 8-minute video on it. I'm kind of an expert now. Was just about to log off because I have a meeting in 5 minutes. Yeah, same. I also have a meeting in 5 minutes. A meeting with my lunch. Senior position. Buy you an orange cat, whistling cat, orange whistling. I like that. I wish YouTube had better emotes. But you know, what can you do? I'm a senior. That's what I'm gonna put on my resume. Senior VLang programmer. Expert in Rust. Meeting with Kenta. My cat jumps on my shoulder and just like stands there. Yeah, thanks for stopping in, guys. It was a good stream today. We got a lot done. I'm proud. So I appreciate it. Yeah, she's cute. I'll see you guys next time. And yeah.